Welcome. This video will provide an overview of FA21's parameter configuration high-low. But before we begin, please review the safe harbor statement. Alright, let's get started. Before we look at the parameter settings, we have a few assumptions here that you have already downloaded the FA21 application to your desktop, that you have loaded the scheduler XML file to your desktop and you have that available to you. And that file looks like this. Just so you know, we're going to look at this shortly. Also, you've received your activation key for FA21 and you've created a demo account in FXCM's trading station, and you have the trading station on your desktop, which is what we're looking at right here. So you can see that I already have the FA21 strategy loaded, and it's loaded for the Euro Australian dollar. But I just want to point out a couple things. You can pause a strategy with this button, and you see that the green arrow changes from the pause, and then you can activate it again by clicking on that restart strategy. You also should have available to you the parameter settings that's downloaded from the Forex Associates website, and that looks like this. So you have that available to you. What we're going to do is configure the parameters according to the most recent, and this is why this file is so important, because this is what we're using today that generates the profitable trades that are shown on the website. So you'll have this available to you. I'm just referencing it. We won't look at it again because all of my settings are already set up that way, but we'll take a look at a couple of the features so you know how FA21 works. You can see that I have it selected for the Euro Australian dollar. Again, FA21 works on any currency pair. So if you're monitoring different currency pairs, here's the Euro US dollar. You can switch it, but again, these parameters are set up for the Euro Australian dollar, which is what we've had success recently, and want to share that with our users. So let's start with this high-low time frame parameter. That can be set to any time frame, but the parameter settings in the PDF from the website shows an hour. H1 means an hour. Values 1 and 2. Value 1 and value 3. We're going to talk about what that means in the scheduler, but I'm going to mention it right now. Value 1 means that in the event the price movement of the Euro Australian dollar moves in a particular direction, let's say by example moving in a increasing value, if the parameter settings are met, FA21 will execute a buy, or what we call a direct trade that's in the direction of the trend. A value 3 setting in the scheduler file will indicate that if the parameter settings are met, FA21 will not execute a trade in the direction of the price trend, but it will execute what we call a reverse trend. Let me go back to the scheduler file for just a second. Scheduler file is Sunday through Friday, the trading week, and every minute of the day is identified here in this file. And you can see that the file starts at midnight and goes all the way through the whole day, every minute of the day. So we're going to take a look at, in this particular case, it's Wednesday. We're going to look at Wednesday scheduler file, and we see here that there are 1s here, and you can see there are 2s, and there are also, we'll take a look at it. There aren't many 3s, but there are some 3s in this particular. You can see right here there are some 3s. What that means is when FA21 reads the scheduler, it's going to know which way to trade depending on the trends, and 1 means a direct trade or in line with the trend of the price movement. 2 means no trade. FA21 will not trade under any circumstances, and 3 means reverse trade, meaning if it's trending in one direction, it'll open up a trade in the opposite direction. So here, high-low time frame H1, that means the FA21 is going to look at the parameters on an hour chart. So over here I have an hour chart. You can see H1 over here, Euro, Australian dollar. You can see we're going to take a look at this about 3 o'clock in the morning. My trading station traded and executed a positive trade of 20 pips. Put the same 1 hour or H1 value here. These are all set according to the parameter settings PDF that you have. M1, that's a time, TS stands for time frame. That means FA21 is going to check the scheduler file every minute of every day. Important. Allow strategy to trade. Yes, of course, we want it to trade. If you select no, it's not going to trade. So obviously in the PDF settings it'll show yes. High-low is yes. If you change this to no, that means this configuration is going to default to what we call the 4 indicator configuration. So, and we'll talk about that in a different video. But here you select the TS. Again, make sure you have your scheduler file loaded. Right, needs to be there. We'll go down here to the exit parameters. Now, up here we set the parameter settings to high-low time frame H1 for value 1 and value 2. This is parameter settings for trading in line with the currency price move, and value 3 is what the strategy is to do in the event of where we want to execute a reverse trade. That tells us how we're going to get into a trade. The exit parameters are how we get out of a trade. And there's a couple things that are important here for you to understand. This CWDP is close when dormant period. All right, close when dormant period. Really, it's just close dormant period. We want to put that to yes. What that 50 means there, that in the event that a trade is exited, in this case, about 3 o'clock, entered a trade, about 4:30, trade exited with a win. When that trade exited, 50-minute for the next 50 minutes, FA21 will not execute a trade. Why is that important? I mean, you could change this to 100 minutes, you could change it to 10 minutes, whatever your preference, but we've been using 50. The reason why that's important, during a volatile period of trading, sometimes trends can cause auto trading systems to trade because it's trending, but many times, as you know, trends exhaust. So what we have here is, if you set this to yes, that means once a trade is exited, so it's closed when hopefully you have a win, but the dormant period is after a trade is exited, FA21 will not execute a trade for 50 minutes. If you set it to 120, that'll be 120 minutes. But it gives time for the market to settle, so you don't get caught up in multiple executions and running into a situation where a second or third trade eliminates your profit. So that's an important feature. Total stop. If you were using FA21 in multiple currency pairs, use total stop. This is a way for you to instruct the system to close out all positions if all the positions sum to plus 50 pips, and close all positions if all positions are summed to a minus 35 pips. It's a way to restrict your losses and to take profits when you feel again, you can put this at any number. If I don't use it because I'm only using one currency pair, but if you select this to yes, then if you have multiple currencies traded with FA21, it'll close them when those parameters are set. The exit parameters are pretty straightforward. You want to set the limits to yes, you want to set limits and stop losses. My limit here is 30 pips, and here's another interesting feature of FA21: set take profit time limit orders. As you know, as you're trading during the day, there are times where trends exhaust. So if there's a price movement and you can get a quick 30 pips, that's great. But if I select this to yes, because what this means is if I don't get 30 pips within the take profit time limit, 60 means 60 minutes. At 60 minutes, if I don't get my 30 pip loss, the system will set the limit to 20 pips, meaning that if I didn't get 30, let me try and get 20 and get out of the trade with a profit. So I hope that makes sense. Set stop orders as a yes. You never want to trade without a stop loss order. And here I have it set to 40 pips, and I don't use trailing stops. So these are the parameters to exit when a trade is traded under value 1, which is a direct trade. On the value equals 3, which is a reverse trade, same thought is you set limits. Now on a reverse trade, I don't use the same limits. I'm not looking to gain as much in this particular case. I have my initial limit to 20. I have my take profit time limit to 30 minutes versus 60 minutes, and I'm looking to get 15 pips, and I have a somewhat different stop loss order right there. Down here, this is the percentage allocation money manager. I always set this to yes, because what this means is number one, I have my margin requirement set to 32. That means this is governed by FXCM. $32 per $10,000 in mini lot. So I have to have $32 in there. If you were doing a different currency pair, you want to change this according to what the margin requirements are. And what this means is, FA21 is going to execute one trade at a time. It's not going to do multiple trades in the same currency pair. And what this 85 means, 85% is going to be used and applied to a trade depending on the equity in my account. So this 85%, you could send this to 10%. You could be very conservative, make it 2%. I use 85% because my thoughts are I have a good feel for what the market will do. I'm looking to maximize my profits. Again, this has risk. The more money you're willing to risk to make a profit, you also have risk of losing your money, but this is the way it works. That means when FA21 executes a trade, it's going to look back at the equity in your trading account. It's going to take 85% of it and create a number of lots to trade. So this will automatically set that based on that. And as your equity changes, so does the actual number of lots that you'll be trading automatically. So you could set this to 10%, 20%, 85% is about the maximum you should even contemplate. But initially, especially if you're using demo account, it doesn't really matter. But if you're in real money accounts, absolutely, be conservative and don't do anything until you're ready to trade and feel comfortable with the trading station and the system. Here again, it's the activation URL, and you should have your license here to trade. Once that's all set, again, all of these parameters are set and identified in the PDL that's available on the website. Again, it's here, so just go to the website and download it. It's dated, so this is January 6th. So all of the trades that we've executed on the trading account has been since January 6th, and these parameters are what we've been using. So let's take a look at this. Again, it's strategies activated. Let's just take a look real quick. Here's a trade that executed at 3:13 a.m. and closed out at 4:29. Let me show you in the events window. Events window, by the way, that won't be a default setting when you open up your FXCM. So event show windows right there, right? So you want to look at that. It's important to know what's going on. And also, that's a setting. The events log is also a setting in the parameters window. So let me open that up again and show you where that is. Debug, trace debug information. There's trace and debug. You want to set that to debug because these events will show up in the events window log. I don't think there's any alerts now. Okay. Let's go back to what happened at about 3 o'clock. Let me change. This is the chart now. So what's over here doesn't impact FA21, but let's go back and take a look at a 5-minute chart. Let's close this up. Okay, so right about there, we had executed. Now it looks, the trend is going in this direction, right? So it executed a buy. why did it execute a buy? Let's just take a look again at, it's Wednesday at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's take a look at what was going on in the scheduler file. Okay, at 3:05 you see a 1 there, right? You see a 2 here. At 3:04 FA21 would not have executed a trade. It would be no trade, right? But in this case it's a direct trade. So in the event of a price movement, it would have executed in the direction of a price movement. In the case of a rising price, it would execute a buy. So let's move that out of the way for a second. So right here you see at 3:13 it executed a buy. At 4:29 it closed it. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the event viewer. Take a look, see what was going on at that time. Okay. Here at 3:05, remember we said at 3:05 the scheduler showed it changed from 2 to 1. Here's where FA21 created entry points. The entry points were placed here, so if you were looking at this chart at the time, you would see a market orders. Market orders would show up here, so there would be an opportunity to buy and an opportunity to make a sale. So at 3:13 it executed a buy. Then as time marched on, rolled up to 4:29, and as the pricing met the exit strategy, 4:29, you see here it executed a close and closed it out, and you can see there's where it submitted and it closed it out with a 20 pip loss. You also see here that skipped due to CWDP. That's the close, that's the dormant period I talked about. So from 4:29 till 5:51, FA21 would not have executed a trade. Now you see here as time passed, had we changed the dormant period to a lesser amount, we would have caught this sell here if scheduler was at 1, scheduler value equal to 1, and we'd have caught this and we'd have probably picked up another profitable win. So you know, it just happens. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but that's okay. We just want to have more wins than losses. So there you have it. This is the high-low configuration. Review it. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, you can send us an email at support@forex.associates.com or click on chat on the website.